Hello, this is Enlight Mike, and this is Music Theory from the Beginning, Episode 2, Part 2, Take 2, Building the Keys. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to derive all the keys and demonstrate how many there are. How do we know which of the 12 notes to use? How do we figure out whether we are using sharps or flats? Building the keys will give us these answers. First, we always have 12 notes and 12 intervals, as you see here. Remember that we are going to use all 7 notes, and none will repeat. I mentioned in Episode 2, Part 1, that it was necessary to use sharps when building the key of A. Let's find out why. Write down the chromatic scale, starting on the note A and ending on the note A. Notice that a note with 2 names, like A sharp, B flat, is called an enharmonic note. Next, let us write down the major scale formula. 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 1. It is very easy to recognize that this pattern adds up to 12 half steps. 2, 4, 5, 7, 9, 11, 12. Later, we will see that this pattern shifts when using modes such as the relative minor, but it doesn't actually change. Let's write down our root note. Next, write down the octave. Remember that the octave is the foundation of the whole music theory system. Now we write down the notes in between. We are going to use the major scale formula, so our B will be our second degree. Then we write down, for now, let's just write down C sharp, D flat. 1 half step now gives us a D. Now we're 2 half steps again. This is following the major scale formula, and we have an E. Our 6th degree is F sharp, G flat. And finally, our 7th degree is G sharp, A flat. Notice that this note is only 1 half step below our octave. That's called a leading tone. It is easy to see which note name to use. After the note B, we need a C, which needs to be sharped. After E, we need the F sharp, and then, of course, the G sharp. This becomes obvious with the 12-note scale written down. One more key rule: never mix flats and sharps. Now, let's try building another key. We always start with 12 notes and 12 intervals. But this time, let's start on the second note, A sharp, B flat. But do we use A sharp or B flat? I'll tell you up front that we only have 2 sharp keys, F sharp and C sharp, and no F flat, but we will verify that. Let's write down, for now, both notes as our root. Then we write down the octave. Next, the 2nd degree. Notice that this is an easy choice when using B flat. However, for A sharp, we need a B. So if you take the note B and raise it by half a step, you have a C. But we also have a rule that says when you raise a note by half a step, you can put a sharp sign there. Use that note name and put a sharp sign. So B sharp is in fact a legitimate name for the note C. Now let's go to our 3rd degree. You can see that using B flat, it lands on D. But we need a C for the A sharp scale. So we'll have to raise it by half a step 2 times, giving us a double sharp. Double sharps or double flats aren't used normally. Continuing, we add our fourth degree. The fifth requires us to write an F as an E sharp, much like we did with the second degree. The sixth degree uses another double sharp. And finally, the seventh degree also. We now have 3 double sharps. So I'd like to point out the similarity with the key of A. Notice that we have C double sharp, F double sharp, G double sharp, and the key of A has a C sharp, F sharp, G sharp. So all we've done is added a sharp in front of every single letter of the key of A. So we don't use A sharp as a key name. This makes it obvious why we use B flat as the name of our key. Okay, if you have 7 letters, A, B, C, D, E, F, and G, and 3 accidentals, natural, sharp, and flat, then you have 21 potential note names. But we don't use 6 of these for keys. As this chart shows, these 6 note names end up with double sharps or a double flat in the case of B flat. So these are our sharp keys. We go from C to G, D, A, E, and B. And they're all exactly the same. B has 5 sharps. E has 4 sharps. So we're just adding a sharp just like to every note, just like we did with A. So we do not use those note names and we do not use F flat. You just end up adding a flat to everything. We have a B flat and F flat. Remember this chart? We were discussing the musical alphabet, showing the 8-note octave, A to A or C to C. We discussed C being the note that ended up with all natural notes when used as our fundamental and adding the simple ratio notes in between it and its octave. We're going to start with this page again, showing root note and the octave are both called the tonic. And the 5th degree is called the dominant. However, what's wrong with this picture? What we have learned is that this layout is misleading. The notes are not displayed in their relative spacing since the notes are not spread out evenly. In the key of C, with no flats or sharps, the BC and the EF pairs have no space between them. When we start on the note C, the spacing of the natural notes follows the major scale formula. But when we start on the note A, it does not follow the major scale formula. The set of 7 notes is what determines the key, regardless of what note we start on. So both scales are in the same key. When we start on a certain degree, making that note our tonal center in a scale or a song, that is called a mode. Each of the 7 degrees has an associated mode. On our chart, we notice that the scale starting on the note A does line up with the major scale formula when it is shifted to the 6th degree. I've just started from here. We see that because the pattern shifts and starts at a different degree, it has a different order, but the pattern is the same if we recognize the circular nature of music. 2-2-1, 2-2-2-1, or 2-1, 2-2-1, 2-2. So the degree we start on determines the mode. Each mode has a characteristic sound because of the order of double and single half steps. But if we recognize the unchanging pattern, it will be easier to remember them. We will discuss modes in episode 4. We have discussed the musical alphabet, which is the 12-note chromatic scale. We have used that 12-note scale to demonstrate how to build two keys, the key of A and the key of B flat. Now we will derive all the keys starting from C and incrementing by fifths. In this chart, we have the key of C using all natural notes. It was hysterical evolution that led to this historical confusion. I think it's hysterical confusion that led to, forget it. From this chart, it is easy to see that the fifth degree of the key of C is G. If we copy the notes of the C major scale, or the key of C, starting with G, our resulting scale fits the major scale formula everywhere except the 7th degree, which needs to be sharped to give us our leading tone. The key of G has one sharp, F sharp. Now we start with the key of G, and D is our fifth. Copying those notes starting with D, it's the same thing. The 7th needs to be sharped, giving us our leading tone. The key of D has two sharps, F sharp and C sharp. Now we start with D, and our fifth degree is A. So we write down the notes starting with A, and the 7th degree needs to be raised. The key of A has three sharps, F sharp, C sharp, and G sharp. In the key of A, the fifth is our E. We write down the notes starting with E, and the 7th degree is raised, giving us our leading tone. The key of E has four sharps, F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, and D sharp. Now in the key of E, our fifth is B. We write down the notes starting with B, and the 7th degree needs to be raised, giving us our leading tone. The key of B has five sharps, F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, and A sharp. In the key of B, the fifth is F sharp. We write the notes starting with F sharp, and the 7th degree is raised to give us our leading tone. The key of F sharp has six sharps, F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, A sharp, and finally E sharp. Notice that E sharp is really the note F, but we can't use the letter F twice. So again, that is a legitimate note name, E sharp, for the note F. One more time, in the key of F sharp, the fifth is C sharp. We write down the notes starting with C sharp, and we have to raise the 7th, which is B. The key of C sharp has seven sharps, F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, A sharp, E sharp, and finally B sharp. The order of sharped notes was fat cats go down alleys eating bats. Now we have derived the keys C, G, D, A, E, B, and F sharp, and C sharp. Again, notice the order. Cats go down alleys eating bats, fat cats. Over and over you will see the same order. The number of keys we have so far is one key with 0 accidentals and 7 keys with sharps. We have a total of 8 keys so far. Now the circle of fifths can help you lock in the order of fifths. Fat cats go down alleys eating bats. The order of fourths is the same, but it's backwards. Bats eating alleys down go cats fat. Whatever mnemonic you choose to use, it's important to learn this order. Now we're going to derive the keys with flats in them. Again, we'll start with the key of C. We notice that it lines up with everything except the 4th degree. So we only have to flat the B to B flat to match the major scale formula. The key of F has 1 flat, B flat. Using F, the 4th is B flat. Writing the note starting with B flat, and it's the same thing. We flat the 4th to get E flat. B flat has 2 flats, B flat and E flat. Using B flat, our 4th is E flat. We write it down. We see our 4th is A. We flat it to get an A flat. E flat has 3 flats, B flat, E flat, and A flat. Using E flat, the 4th is A flat. So we put down the A flat, and we see that we have our 4th is D, and we flat it. So A flat now has 4 flats, B flat, E flat, A flat, and D flat. Writing down A flat, we see the 4th is D flat. When we put D flat down, we see our 4th is G. So we flat the G, flat the 4th. Now the key of D flat has 5 flats. We have B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, and finally G flat. Using D flat, the 4th is G flat. So we put the G flat down. Our 4th is a C. We flat that for C flat. The key of G flat has 6 flats. B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, and finally C flat. But we have one more. Using G flat, our 4th is C flat. Writing the note starting with C flat, we flat the 4th to get F flat. The key of C flat has 7 flats. B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, C flat, and finally F flat. This is bats eating alleys down go cats fat. Again, the same order, but it's backwards. So going forwards, we move by fifths. Going backwards, we move by fourths. But it's the same order either way. This chart shows the enharmonic keys. There are 6 key signatures here. B, C flat, F sharp, G flat, C sharp, D flat. But we only have 3 keys. Notice that B and C flat are the same note. In fact, notice that every note is the same. Each note in this key has 2 names. Every note is an enharmonic. Now we can see that the same thing is true of F sharp, G flat. It's an enharmonic key. Each of these is only one note. C sharp, D flat. Each of these is only one note. You can write these 3 keys down in 6 ways, but there's only 3 sets of unique notes, so we only have 3 keys. Now we have derived 7 sharp keys and 7 flat keys and 1 key with no sharps or flats. This is a total of 15 key signatures, or ways to write down a key. However, we have seen that 3 of the keys are enharmonic and have 2 names. So we have a total of 12 keys. Here's the circle of fifths again. It would be good practice to see if you can write this down from memory. Just remember the sequence: fat cats go down alleys eating bats. The more you study music theory, the more you will see this sequence. Now, I wanted to demonstrate that we could have generated the flat keys by fifths. Let's go back to our key of B and remember that it is an enharmonic key. So we're going to write down below it C flat. And we're going to find out its flat is G flat. Now remember, C flat has 7 flats. We write down G flat, starting with G flat, and like we did with all the ones that all of our sharp keys, we have to raise the 7th, which gives us a natural F. So whereas C flat had 7 flats, G flat now has 6 flats. It has the 1 natural note, F. If we write down, starting with G flat, our 5th is D flat. Again, we raise the 7th. D flat now has 2 natural notes, the F and the C. Starting with D flat, our 5th is A flat. When we write down A flat, our 7th is G flat, which we raise to a G. D flat has 5 flats, so it has 2 natural notes. A flat has 4 flats, so it has 3 natural notes: an F, a C, and a G. Notice the same order. Okay, so now we write down A flat. Its 5th is E flat. E flat's 7th is D flat. So we sharp that. E flat, we remember, has 3 flats, so now we have 4 natural notes: F, C, G, D. E flat, turns out its 5th is B flat. B flat, we write it down, its 7th is A flat. So the A is now flat, raised to give us a natural A. We now have 5 natural notes: F, C, G, D, A, and only 2 flats, B flat and E flat. So now B flat, the 5th is F. We write it down, F. Our 7th is E. We raise that to natural E. We now have 1 flat, 6 natural notes. One more time, if we put F down, our 5th is C. We put C down, and our 7th is our last flatted note. So when we raise it, we get back to C with no flats. And that's exactly where we started. Once again, I want you to notice the sequence of notes: F, C, G, D, A, and E. Now, if I had listed the flats, it would have been reversed. We would have started with 7 flats and we lost F. Then we had 6 flats and we lost C. We had 5 flats and we lost G. 4 flats and we lost D. 3 flats and we lost A, 2 flats and we lost E and B. Notice F, C, G, D, A, E, B. And of course C has 0 flats. The musical alphabet is not A, B, C, D, E, F, G. The musical alphabet is F, C, G, D, A, E, B. These are the 12 keys that we have derived. Notice that this table starts with C at the top of the circle of fifths and goes all the way around clockwise or by fifths to F. So here in the middle we have our 3 enharmonic keys that are at the bottom of the circle of fifths. Now, in episode 3, I will cover chords and intervals, including how to build chords and the naming conventions for chords. I will see you there.